Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got an interesting show for you. All right. Yeah, the most hated college football coach. I don't quite understand why it's so intense, but it is. And also it shows how critical your quarterback is. Yeah, we've got a coach that is not well liked, and I'm going to show you plenty of examples. It's almost kind of shocking. I don't know why Ryan Day just attracts so much negativity. It's really surprising. You know, he wins at a very high percentage, runs a clean program, it appears to me, and recruits really well. But, man, people do not like this dude, not one bit. Now, I'm going to show you just a few examples, especially on YouTube, but really elsewhere. Even the Ohio State fan base, you know, there's plenty of them that want rid of him. And I'm going to show you 3 different YouTubers, and all 3 of these guys have a ton of subscribers. And we're going to start out with this first fellow. This is Aaron Torres.
In my heart of hearts, I have truly believed essentially from the beginning that Ryan Day was simply not built for Ohio State, is not Urban Meyer, has let the program that Urban Meyer has handed him continue to decay, continue to get further from what it was, and that Ohio State will never be great under Ryan Day. Doesn't mean he needs to be fired, doesn't mean he's the worst human being in the world, doesn't mean he's a bad dad, doesn't mean he's a bad father. I just believe Ohio State is one of those Cadillac jobs where if you are the guy, it should be 10 years of nothing but the highest of high-level success. Well, I bring it up because we know Ryan Day's resume, and we now have, after all the losses to Michigan, after 3 straight years where you don't even play for a Big Ten title, we have yet another piece of proof that Ryan Day just might not be the guy for Ohio State, as on Friday night, in the Cotton Bowl, in a game that you tell me is meaningless, but as I just said, it did not feel meaningless for Ohio State fans. They go in, they play Missouri, the 3rd, 4th best team in the SEC, and they play an ugly, sloppy, embarrassing game in which they lose 14-3 and finish with a grand total of 203 yards of total offense.
All right, so that's the first YouTuber. And he's not being too brutal. He just doesn't think that he's very good, and he feels like he was born on third base, which, look, you know, granted, Ohio State's a great program to take over. I will admit that. That is sort of like starting on third base. But the guy's been winning at a very high rate, and you got to know that Jim Harbaugh has got to be so pleased that he's not the guy receiving all the hate.
It's got to be America's team.
You would think it'd be Jim Harbaugh, the most hated college coach, but for some reason it's Ryan Day. And they're talking about how Missouri came in and beat them 14-3. Missouri's a very good program. They've got a very good defense. And Ohio State was on their 3rd string quarterback, who's a true freshman. And here's the thing that people need to understand. I don't care how good your team is. If you're playing a team that's fairly equal to you, and they've got their starting quarterback and you're on your 3rd string freshman quarterback, you're not going to win that ball game because you're not going to be able to move the ball. Missouri has a very good defense. And you put in some freshman who has virtually no experience, all he's got is high school experience, it's a totally different game. It goes so much faster. And they're going to look like crap. That's the way it is. You take a look at this kid's numbers. 6 for 17, 86 yards, 5-yard average, 20, a QBR of 20. Terrible. Well, what do you really expect? Because Devin Brown, their backup quarterback, got hurt. He started out 4 for 6, but he's a dual threat guy, and he sprained his ankle, it appeared to me. So he wasn't able to go, so they had to pull in their 3rd string guy. Look, this is not 2005. You don't get to stack great quarterbacks up like Cordwood the way you used to be able to, because if they left, they'd lose a year of eligibility. That's not how this works anymore.
I'd unfriend you.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Now, if you don't get to play, you just transfer out to a place where you do get to play. So there's no more stacking of quarterbacks. You've got to keep your 1st string quarterback healthy. And if you lose your 2nd string quarterback, you're in big trouble. And look at what Ohio State did on defense. They kept a very good quarterback in Brady Cook, 11 for 18 for 128 yards. That is excellent defense. And honestly, had Ohio State's offense done anything, I don't even know if Missouri would have scored, because Ohio State's defense got tired at the end, and they only scored 14 points in the 4th quarter. I promise you, had Ohio State been fresh, they wouldn't have scored those 2 touchdowns. That just wouldn't have happened. Ohio State's secondary was fantastic. But again, the importance of a quarterback, it's critical. So this is a tough game to be really ripping on the dude. But look, it's the perfect opportunity for folks to do it. Now I'm going to show you a second guy. Now look, I know what's going to happen on this second guy. I'm going to show you this video, this little clip, and then I'm going to take a bunch of crap in the comment section. You don't like the guy. I'm giving you a warning right now. This is Uncle Lou.
Just walk away.
That's right. Humongous just warned you. If he's a guy that triggers you, just walk away. I don't want to cause anybody to have some sort of a panic attack or something. So, you've had your opportunity. So now I'm going to show you this clip.
Days to prepare for this game. When will Ohio State learn? And y'all aren't the only ones, but you're a repeat offender. When will Ohio State learn that you have got to prepare more than 22 people for a game? You had 30 days where you knew this Judge Reinholtz was your backup quarterback. Prepare him. Don't tell me he's a true freshman. He's been on campus for a year, since January, okay? He's not a true freshman, and plenty of true freshmen play and play well. Prepare your players. Nobody gives a shit about the injuries in terms of blaming that for a loss. Everybody suffers injuries. Every team in the country has hurt players. You got your beat again by your daddy, SEC.
All right. So he's taking that to the next level. Look, Georgia hadn't had to worry about that. They didn't have to go to their third string quarterback. And they actually do have a ton of quarterbacks, but they didn't have to do that. They've had their quarterback, Carson Beck, the whole year, which really, really helps, by the way. And they're just whooping up on Florida State. Florida State's had a ton of opt-outs this first half. I think it's like 42-3, which I was afraid that was going to happen. I actually did a video. Said I think Georgia's going to have a party because all of Florida State's opt-outs, even their backup quarterback opted out, and they've got a true freshman third-string guy. You cannot beat a starting quarterback on a really good team when you've got a third-string freshman. You're just not. You can get him as ready as you want. Getting ready and actually playing real live game reps is two totally different things. And what are you going to do? Take this freshman who's your third string, and I'm going to put him in every third series in these live games that really matter. So he's ready to go. Yeah, you do that. You know what you're going to do? You're going to lose a game. You're going to get fired because you did it, and you're going to split the team in half. Georgia's not doing that. You don't see Georgia taking Carson Beck out in the first quarter and putting, some freshman in there. That's not going to happen.
Hello?
You've got to keep your quarterback healthy, and that requires some luck. And, if you'll notice, all four of the playoff teams have their starting quarterback intact.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
You think that's a coincidence? Absolutely not. Now we're going to get into this third fella, and this guy's got over 300,000 subscribers, and he has been after Ryan Day for a while. He is not a believer, to say the least.
Nobody has been warning you guys more about the fraud himself, Ryan Day, more than me, myself, and I. Okay? You guys know this. I've been saying it for the past 2 years. Ryan Day should have been fired. So don't act brand new around here on this channel. And while I'm glad, I'm not glad the players lost for Ohio State, but while I'm glad Ryan Day lost today and the more he continues to lose, people are starting to side with me. And when they come to this channel, they're like, you know what? This guy might have been on his own because he's been saying Ryan Day should have been fired the past couple of years. This is why. And also, before I go any farther, let me make this clear. I'm not shocked, okay?
All right, yeah. There's not many YouTubers that have a lot of faith in Ryan Day. They pretty much go after him. And it's been pretty consistent. And like I said, I can understand what it is. He was born on third base. Everybody likes to say that. He's still done a very good job. He's winning over 90% of his games. He recruits like crazy. He seems to run a clean program. And he's on his third string quarterback. Let the guy get a quarterback squared away in the transfer portal, or at least get this backup guy a chance to play where he's not going to have a sprained ankle within the first 10 plays, and give him a shot. This just seems a little ridiculous. Now, 2 of the 3 games that he lost to Michigan, by the way, Connor Stallions had their plays. He had their signals. I'm not really going to count that when C.J. Stroud all of a sudden can't do anything in the second half. It's because they knew his plays. This is ridiculous. Now, they did lose in the Michigan game this year at Michigan by 6 points. I'll give you that. J.J. McCleskey played real well, and Kyle McCord threw 2 interceptions. It's about the quarterback. And that's why, if you'll notice, I had two other quarterbacks on my thumbnail. And that's right here. I had Devin Brown, who got hurt and couldn't play in the game. And then, of course, we've got our guy, Nico. That's why we spent $8 million on Nico, the number one player in the country last year. Quarterback is the critical position. There is no position anywhere close as important. Let's just make that clear. There's quarterback, there's second, third, fourth, fifth. Then there's the most important position after that, which would probably be wide receiver, offensive line. The first five positions, you might as well just put quarterback on each one. That's how important it is. Ohio State's got five-star wide receivers. They scored 3 points against Missouri with their third-string quarterback. I don't care how good your wide receivers are. I don't care about any of those offensive players. If you've got a quarterback that doesn't know what he's doing, he's inexperienced, he's a deer in headlights, you're not going to win against a good team like Missouri. Now, you could beat up on some North Dakota State or some, small school where you've just totally out-talent them to death, and you could put in a freshman and be okay and win. You're not going to do that against a Missouri, against a Georgia, an Alabama, Michigan, whoever. Any good school that has their starting quarterback is going to whoop you. It's the way it is. We've got Nico. Like I said, we spent $8 million on this young man, and we're going to find out what he can do against Iowa come Monday. I feel really good about it because he's been the backup quarterback the entire year. He's been getting almost as many snaps as Joe Milton. He's had a whole year to work towards this, and he's had a whole month to get ready for this game pretty much. So I think he'll perform well. And again, he is the top of the top recruit in the country and has had a full year as the backup quarterback. So I expect him to play pretty well. Not great, not like he would if he, started 10 games, but I expect him to play well. To put in a third-string freshman quarterback that wasn't even getting backup reps and was probably playing with the scout team, you can forget it. You can just forget it.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
You're not going to get him ready. You can't get him ready. There's not enough reps to get a third-string freshman quarterback ready. There's not. So I'm going to defend Ryan Day for this, and I think he needs to be given some more time before everybody just piles on him over a game that honestly is not that important, especially when you're playing your third-string guy. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover the SEC, my Vols, and, of course, any of these other big games. If you've not subscribed, it's on your right, my left. Just hit this little button. I'd appreciate it. And right over here is the most recent video, YouTube. Thanks, you'll enjoy. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.